KT7 up here. This is my video for Duran, the handout unit from the Trials of Mana collab. He is a 100 cost win unit in the Sword Knight group. His sub-jobs are Knight and Nightblade. Duran is a semi-tank, bruiser type debuffer that has a lot of self-sustain. My Duran is still at level 89, but I have a very good idea of what he can do. Now let's take a look at his kit. First, his stats. His HP is at 5016, the highest in the game. He doesn't have access to agility support. 68 is the max value he can get to without anything equipped. His luck value is also quite low at 178, he is more prone to getting crit hits. But he has ways to lower critical damage. Still, I suggest to gear him for some crit evasion. Next, his weapon, the Brave Blade. The general ability is Defense Penetration 20. For Duran only, he gets max HP 15%, crit damage resistance 8, and reaction block rate 30. This weapon is okay, gives him some defense penetration. As he only has active defense pen, none from support. The Blood Sword is a great option for him to absorb more HP. You can even give him a TMR weapon. Moving to his TMRS. It is a shield, the stats are HP 284, Accuracy 7, Defense 14, and Spirit 14. The ability is a self-buff. Gives user protect, and HP regen for 4 turns. Absorb 50% of the damage dealt when regen is active. It is a shield, the units that can equip this is limited. But not a bad choice for him when he has the pellet drum. Continuing on to the TOR item, the pellet drum. The general abilities are Curse Resistance 25, Immobilize Resistance 25, and AoE Resistance 10. The unique abilities for him are Accuracy 20 and Healing Power 20. For Duran, I recommend the Aim type. This is a good option for him. He can equip a sword, the pellet drum, and his own TMR. Or a better armor such as the plasma armor or the army plate and the pellet drum. Next is weapon type resistances. 20 to slash, 15 to pierce, 10 to missile, and 5 to magic. Only negative is to strike, at -5. Overall not bad, I would recommend to give him some magic resistance from other sources. Ailment resistances are 10 to curse, 50 to slow, and 50 to confusion. Having 10 curse resistance is better than none. With Truststone and his VC, his curse resistance can reach 50. I recommend to keep his faith at 50 to lower curse chance and magic damage. Moving to his master ability. He gets 3 effects. Slash Penetration 20, Accuracy 10, and Debuff Weakening 10. Not bad at all, his slash penetration can get to a very high value. And debuff weakening is always good. At level 140, he gets 20 AoE resistance penetration, 15 unit resistance, reaction block 30. An upgrade to his group buff, Miracle, to include an aura effect for allies, giving them 20 unit resistance and 20 defense while inside his aura. Next, his main support abilities. Number 1 gives him defense 12, hate 5, and crit damage resistance 12. 5 hate is all he can get from his kit. Support number 2 gives him attack 24%, slash penetration 40, and force barrier from range 3 to 6. Number 2 is the one I recommend for him at all times. The hate up is useful, but it is maxes out at 5, it runs out pretty quickly. If you want to put him in the tank role, go with support number 1. The reaction ability is a preemptive counter that has a 30% proc rate, with range 4 and range height 1. This is the best reaction from his whole kit. Continue to his LB. It is a diamond AoE around self with area height 2. Before damage, increase Duran's attack by 40% for 3 turns, then deals 2 hit extra large damage. And has a 67% chance to stun. The range is limiting, but I really like stun. Your opponents can't gear for every ailments. Especially we have all these high faith units around, it can catch a lot of people off guard. Next, his buffing abilities. His cross-shaped group buff has the highest priority. Grants the group 4 turns AoE resistance 25, and lower target's defense penetration 20 on hit for 3 turns. For Duran, he also gets courage, restore 15 AP, and an aura effect. The coverage area is range 4, and range height 1. The allies within the aura will get 20 unit resistance, and 20 defense. This plays really well with Dario's aura, they can cover for each other's weaknesses. Buff number 2 is for self only. grants him a 7.5k HP physical damage barrier, force barrier from range 3 to 6, and 2 times HP auto healback after taking damage when his HP is above 40%. This force barrier effect stacks with his support ability. The healback will proc twice in a battle. He can be quite hard to take down. Now his attacking abilities. The first one is a select 2-unit attack with range 4 and range height 1. Before damage, remove courage from targets and lower their unit resistance by 60% for 3 turns. Then deals large damage and absorb 50% of damage dealt. Select 2 courage remove plus unit resistance shred is very strong. Number 2 on the list is a cross-shaped AoE attack with range up to 4, range height 1, and area height 1. Before damage, dispel protect from targets, then deals large damage. Post-damage, lower target's defense and spirit penetration for 30 for 3 turns. And buff his own defense and spirit 25 for 3 turns. Lower enemies' penetrations and increase his own overall defense, another good ability. Attack 3 on the list is the low AP skill. A unit attack with range 2 and range height 1. Deals small damage and increase defense 25 for self for 3 turns. Another defense up post effect damage. The last attack on the list is a unit attack with range 4 and range height 1. Before damage, increase his defense penetration by 50 and lower target's type chain resistance by 50 for 3 turns. Then deals extra large damage and increase own elemental resistance 50 for 3 turns. This is a really strong ability when chained with Dario's triple hit attack. The defense pin-up and XL modifier can deal some serious damage. Overall, his main kit is pretty good, but range is kind of short. Moving on to his main sub. The first ability is a rectangle AoE with max range of 2 and range height of 1. Deals medium light element slash damage and lower target's slash resistance by 38 for 3 turns. The slash resistance down isn't very meaningful for Duran, but this is a great ability to set up his teammates. The second ability is a self buff that gives Duran defense, light and dark resistance 25 for 4 turns. Now let's check out the other 2 sub jobs. First up, Knight. Support abilities are Knight Lore and Divine Protection. Knight Lore is very interesting for him. He can reach 80 slash penetration from supports alone. This setup is pretty strong with Dario on the team. Divine Protection gives him debuff resistance 15 and AoE resistance 12, not recommended. The reaction is Sword Guard, 20% chance to reduce incoming damage by 30%. The notable ability is Trinity Break. This sub job is really old and outdated, not a good choice. Unless you want the slash penetration increase from Trinity Break. Next, Nightblade. The support ability is Nightblade Mastery, giving Duran 30% attack, 25 accuracy, but minus 10 evasion. This is a good one for him, mainly for the accuracy. The reaction is Counter Swing. Both of his sub-reactions are not good, stick with his main reaction. The 2 notable abilities are Drain Rush and Stunning Blade. Drain Rush is a 3-hit damage absorb attack, and Stunning Blade gives him another chance to land status. That is all for his kit. Let's go over his VC. The Trials of Mana VC supports Sword Knight, Axe, Staff Black Mage, and Book. The stats are HP 310, Attack 142, Defense 3, and AP 16. The party abilities are Attack 60%, Type Chain Resistance 24, and Physical Wide Guard 20. The bestowed effects are Defense Pin 20, and Curse Resistance 15. The Hollow Party ability is for Guild Battle, gives the team Defense 9. VC Mastery, also for Guild Battle, gives max HP 3% and slash attack 2. 20 Wide Guard is the highest amount we have seen from a VC. This is a 2-in-1, attack and Wide Guard, a very strong card. The bestowed effect can help Duran with Defense Pin and give him Curse Res. He really needs those. It is also a great option for Ashen King. A full Knight team with Melnia's VC, this card will be in the main slot. I highly recommend it. Next are equipments, Espers, and Truststone. For Duran, it is a bit more complicated. I apologize if it is too crowded. If you are building him to tank, go with the defense setup. For offense, go to the box below. The Blood Sword in general is a very good choice for him, but when he's not a team with Ashen King, let the King have it. The Pellet Drum is not a must for him. You can go with the Plasma Armor or give him more agility with the pods. Esper-wise, I really like the Dark Bahamut on him for the 15 magic resistance and higher damage. For his Trust Stones, on the left Vital, Barrier or Shield are all good options. With his high base HP and healbacks, he can really take advantage of any of the 3 sets. On the left go with Agility. Next let's go to Sample Team. The first team I am featuring is a mono win team with Shreka and Dario. Duran is on Nightblade sub. Main support number 2 for attack up and 40/penetration. Night lore for HP up and another 40/pen. Main job reaction for the preemptive counter. You can always replace Night lore with main support 1 for the hate up to further hide Shreka. In this build, Duran has 20 defense pen, it can go up to 70 when he uses his job 25 attack. /penetration is at 100. His job is to use his aura to protect Dario from physical attacks, and /chain with him. With Dark Bahamut equipped, his magic resistance is at 60, and Dario's aura can further reduce magic damage for Duran. This is a very solid win team. The second team I am showing is a Knight and Book team with Ashen King and SummerGlaciela. This time Duran is on main support 1 for the 5 hate, everything else is the same. With his mana VC in the main slot, he has 20 physical wide guard. You can further increase his wide guard to 35 physical, and 15 magic with the army plate. On top of that, he has the force barrier to protect him. Duran and Ashen King both have unit resistance shred, they can help each other out. And Ashen King is a powerful enough unit to be the sole DPS on the team. However, it is more difficult to use him with all the Shreka around. With Resnick on the team, Curse isn't as big of a threat. With Halloween VC, he can also team up with Seifer and kingbradley. Maybe young Sadali too, as he shares AoE resistance and unit resistance VC with Duran. Okay, that's all the team I have for Duran, let's move on to his weapon type VCs, then my final thoughts. These are all the VCs for this group. Since Seifer's card released, this group has been ready. The group also has wide guard cards against both physical and magic. Some notable crossovers are listed here as well. Now my final thoughts on Duran. I really like his kit, he has a lot of potential. He can empower his teammates to deal more damage and increase their survivability with his debuffs and aura. But he arrived at the wrong time, there are too many powerful magic damage dealers out there. It is tough to get consistent results from him, but he is a handout unit, put him in the barracks and slow build him. He is a more difficult unit to use. With no active hate, he is not a true tank. He is not a true DPS either because he has 0 defense pen from his kit. He is just okay in both roles. That makes him difficult to use in any kind of blind matchups. You can say he is flexible, but however you choose to build him, he won't be a top tier damage dealer nor a super tank. A decent two-way role player is what he is. Very fitting for a free unit. The first match of the day is my Angela team against Mono Wind. I forgot to turn off Angela's spell of shielding from her devout team, but that's fine. Duran's first action, Group Buff. Gives the team 4 turns AoE resistance 25, and lower target's defense penetration 20 on hit for 3 turns. For himself Courage, restore 15 AP, and Aura effect to increase allies' unit resistance 20 and defense up 20. Second action, his TMR buff. Gives him Protect and HP regen for 4 turns. Also absorb 50% of damage dealt while regen is active. This is his select 2 unit attack. Before damage remove Courage and lower target's unit resistance 60% for 3 turns. then deals large damage and absorb 50% of damage dealt. He is using the same Select 2 attack on Angela. Duran is not very tanky against magic attacks. It is difficult for him in our current meta. Shreka is still one of the top unit in the game. She is good against every unit that came out in the past 4 months, even Exia. With the current magic meta, it is hard to find a Duran. I will fight him again in my upcoming videos.